Good. You showed up. Of course you did. Because whether you admit it or not, you can feel it. That heat on your name. That silent rage in their eyes when you walk in the room. They're seething with envy because you're winning. And you're still sitting there wondering, what did I do wrong? You existed. That's what you did. You don't get it yet, do you? You think people hate you because you messed up somewhere, because you weren't nice enough, humble enough, quiet enough, small enough. No. They hate you because you refused to die in the place they left you. They hate you because you didn't stay in the role they wrote for you. They hate you because you were supposed to break, and instead, you built. You have to understand something. Most people don't want to see you grow. They want to see you recover just enough that they don't feel guilty, but not so much that you pass them. They want you functional, not fulfilled. Stable, not successful. Calm, not powerful. You are not designed for that, and they can sense it. Think about it. Remember when you started improving, when you got serious, when you stopped replying as fast, stopped hanging out as often, started saying no more than yes, sure. What happened? Suddenly you're acting different. Suddenly you're cold. Suddenly you're full of yourself. No, you're full of focus. But to a lazy mind, focus looks like arrogance. You started pulling away from drama and they told everyone you changed. Of course you changed. You were supposed to. Staying the same would have been the real crime. But here's the twist they'll never admit. The moment you started winning, even just a little, you became a mirror. And mirrors are uncomfortable because every time they see you grinding, they see their excuses. Every time they see you healing, they see their avoidance. Every time they see you shine, they see where they chose comfort over courage. So what do? Do they level up? Do they confront their own reflection? Please. They gossip. They roll their eyes. They throw shade. They make little comments like coupons they hand each other to get a discount on their own insecurity. Let's be blunt. You trigger people, not because you're toxic, but because you represent the version of themselves they abandoned. You show them what they could be if they took themselves seriously, and that burns. You know what envy actually is? It's silent confession. It's them saying, I see something in you I don't have the guts to admit I want for myself. So they hate you for it, because hating you is easier than working on them. And you internalized it. You started shrinking, started downplaying your wins. You softened your achievements, made them sound like accidents. Oh, it's nothing. I just got lucky. It's not that big a deal. You dimmed your own light because their eyes couldn't handle the brightness. You started apologizing for being exactly who you begged to become. Read this carefully. You are not responsible for the emotional allergic reactions people have to your growth. You worked for that progress. They watched you suffer. They know what you went through. They weren't blind. They saw the nights you broke. They saw the days you disappeared. They saw the phases where you were a ghost in your own life. And now, when you finally start stacking wins, they suddenly act like you got handed something. They didn't complain when you were losing. They were comfortable then. You were relatable then. They only got loud when you started becoming evidence that change is possible. Let's really cut into this. You think they're mad at what you have now? No. They're mad at your audacity. The audacity to heal. The audacity to try again. The audacity to want more than survival. How dare you not stay broken? How dare you not live your whole life as the sad story they bonded over? How dare you outgrow the version of you they felt superior to? Because that's what this is. Power dynamics. As long as you were down bad, they were up. Emotionally, ego-wise, narrative-wise. You were the one they could give advice to. You were the one they could pray for in group chats. You were the one they could reference when they needed to feel better about their own stagnation. I mean, I'm not doing amazing, but at least I'm not like them. Guess what? You're not. Not anymore. Now look at you. You're getting sharper. You're dressing better. Your mindset sounds different. Your standards feel firmer. Your boundaries now have teeth. And suddenly, they're uncomfortable because they're realizing something terrifying. They can't control you with pity anymore. They can't bait you with fake concern. They can't lure you back into the same old cycles with "you've changed" guilt trips. You have changed. That was the whole point. Let's talk about that jealousy you're feeling aimed at you. They're not just jealous of your results. They're jealous of your resilience. You didn't fold when they expected you to. You didn't stay broken when they were certain you would. You didn't disappear like they predicted in their group chats. You stayed. You built. You climbed. You walked through hell, picked up your pieces off the burning floor, and started reassembling yourself in plain sight. That's bold. That's threatening. People are okay with your pain as long as it feeds their ego. But your progress, that starves them. Now listen closely. You don't fight envy by shrinking. You don't calm their rage by breaking yourself into smaller pieces. You are not a puzzle for them to rearrange. You are not a character they get to edit. You fight envy by owning the very things they can't stand. Your discipline, your standards, your comeback, your belief in yourself. You stop apologizing. You stop explaining yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. You stop handing out emotional discounts to people who haven't paid a single due in your journey. You don't owe them comfort. You owe yourself honesty. And the honest truth is this: you outgrew them. Emotionally, mentally, spiritually, ambition-wise. You're operating on a different frequency now, and static doesn't like clean signal. Let's address something ugly. Some of the people seething at your success. They clapped when you were hurt. Maybe not out loud, but inside. There was a moment, you felt it, where your pain made them feel a little taller, a little better, a little more stable. You were the cautionary tale in their mind. Look at you now. You turned yourself from an example of what can go wrong into a blueprint of what happens when you refuse to stay down. That's unforgivable to small minds, because now they're out of excuses. They can't say, "It's impossible," while staring at you. They can't say, "People like us don't make it," while watching you do it in real time. So what do? They rewrite the story. Oh, they got lucky. Oh, they changed. They're fake now. Oh, they must be doing something shady. Anything but. They worked harder, healed deeper, and refused to quit. Here's where you're in. You have to decide what you're going to do with their jealousy. Option 1. You let it make you smaller. You start toning down your achievements. You hide your glow. You pretend you're still the old you, just so no one talks about you behind your back. You become a watered-down version of yourself, so they can drink you without choking on their own insecurity. Option 2. You let their envy confirm your evolution. You use it as proof Proof that you're no longer where you were. Proof that your efforts are visible. Proof that your energy is hitting. You understand that hate is just corrupted admiration. They noticed. They care. They're bothered. Good. You're not invisible anymore. You need to sit with this. They're not mad at your personality. They tolerated your personality when you were struggling. They're mad at your progress. Because progress forces comparison, and comparison exposes effort. When they're confronted with the fact that you started from the same or worse position and still decided to rise, they have to face the choices they keep avoiding. So instead of saying, "I should step up," they say, "Who do you think you are? You know who you are. You are the glitch in their system, the exception to their nobody ever makes it out story, the walking contradiction to their life is just like this resignation. You shattered their ceiling by refusing to acknowledge that it was supposed to be a ceiling in the first place. Let's talk about the pressure you feel now. You feel eyes on you. You feel silently judged. You feel like every move you make is being watched, criticized, dissected by people who aren't even brave enough to try. And it's heavy. Of course it is. You weren't built to be liked. You were built to be undeniable. There's a difference. Being liked is fragile. One rumor, one disagreement, one boundary can destroy it. Being undeniable is different. They can hate you. They can gossip about you. They can block you, unfollow you, mute you, throw your name into conversations you're not in. But they can't ignore you. That's where you're heading. That's why they're loud. Noise is resistance, and resistance appears wherever there is movement. You think villains are born? Most of them are created out of betrayal, created out of being underestimated, created out of being pushed out, laughed at, discarded. You know what a villain really is? Someone who stopped seeking permission from people who secretly wanted them powerless. You don't have to become cruel, but you do have to become unapologetic. You can keep your heart without sacrificing your edge. You can be kind without being controllable. You're allowed to say, "Yes, I'm proud of myself. Yes, I'm doing better. Yes, I want more. Yes, I'm not going back to that old version of me just because you're nostalgic for it." Let's be real. Some people aren't attached to you. They're attached to the version of you that needed them. The version that always asked for advice. The version that always needed rescuing. The version that always said, "What do you think I should do?" You grew out of that. Now you make your own decisions. Now you trust your own gut. Now you move without asking for a committee to approve it. And just like that, their power over you vanished. They call it you changing. But really, it's just them losing their grip. So what do you do from here? You double down. You keep going to the gym even when they say you're obsessed. You keep working on that business even when they say it's unrealistic. You keep healing in therapy even when they say you're overthinking everything. You keep saying no to nonsense even when they say you're selfish now. You let them mislabel you. They're using dollar store vocabulary to describe a luxury evolution. You don't stop a transformation to appease spectators who paid nothing to witness it. This is where you flip the switch in your head. Every time you feel that tension, that weird energy, that subtle hostility when you talk about your goals or your growth. Instead of shrinking, you register it as proof. Proof you're moving. Proof you're stepping out of the bracket they placed you in. Proof you're now stepping into a version of yourself that doesn't fit in their old storyline. That discomfort you sense in them, that's your upgrade installing. You are not crazy for wanting more. You are not arrogant for believing there's something powerful in you. You are not wrong for leaving people behind who chose comfort over evolution. You are allowed to evolve past people who refused to move. Let them say you changed. You did. Let them say you're different. You are. Let them say you're too much. You've been not enough for long enough. They're seething with envy because deep down they know something you're just starting to realize. You're winning. Not just in numbers or followers or money or clothes. You're winning in spirit. You're waking up. You're becoming self-aware. You're taking control. You're reclaiming your narrative. You're choosing discomfort now so you don't live in regret later. You're breaking cycles they were planning to pass down like family heirlooms. Of course, they're mad. You weren't supposed to figure it out. You weren't supposed to see your own potential. You weren't supposed to start looking in the mirror and seeing someone worth betting on. Yet here you are. So the next time you walk into a room and feel that cold air, that fake smile, that weird silence when you mention your wins, don't panic, don't shrink, don't start over-explaining yourself. Just remember, you are watching insecurity flinch in real time. Hold your posture, lift your chin, speak calmly, move with intention. You're not the desperate one anymore. You're not the one begging to belong. You're not the one auditioning for acceptance from people who never even accepted themselves. You are the one who chose to rise. And their envy, it's just background noise to your ascent. Keep going, keep growing, keep winning, loudly, quietly, imperfectly, relentlessly. They'll keep seething. You'll keep becoming the proof that they were wrong about you, and you are right to believe in yourself. And you're starting to feel it in your body, right? That shift, that internal click. You walk into places you used to feel small in, and there's this weird calm in your chest instead of that old panic. You reply slower. You choose your words. You listen more than you explain. And people who are used to the old you, they don't know what to do with this version, because the old you was predictable. The old you would overshare, overgive, over-apologize. The old you would beg to be understood. This version of you just exists in truth, no disclaimers. That unsettles them. You ever notice how many jokes are actually just jealousy in costume? They say, "Damn, you're in the gym again," with that little smirk. They laugh, "Look at you, entrepreneur," like ambition is a meme. They say, "All right, celebrity," when you post something you're proud of. On the surface, it sounds light, friendly even. Underneath, you can feel that sting. You feel that tiny flicker in your chest. That little voice that whispers, "Maybe I am doing too much. Maybe I should chill." You override that voice because you're not doing too much. You're doing what they said you couldn't. People weaponize humor when they're too scared to show their envy directly. They hide insecurity inside sarcasm and hope you'll swallow it as just jokes. You're not stupid. You're not crazy. You felt it. That tiny twist, that mini bite behind their words. That's real. You've got to hear this clearly. You are not obligated to stay soft in spaces that keep cutting you. You're allowed to get sharper. You're allowed to put emotional distance between you and people who keep joking you back into a smaller identity. You're allowed to withdraw access, not out of hate, out of self-respect. It's wild, right? You start choosing yourself and suddenly you're cold, distant, egotistical. Meanwhile, they were perfectly fine when you were draining yourself for them. Never had a problem when you were exhausted. Never complained when you kept saying yes with a shaky voice and an empty tank. You step back once and everyone's doing a TED talk on your attitude. You sit there at night sometimes, scrolling, overthinking, replaying conversations in your head. Did I say that wrong? Did I make them feel weird? Did I sound full of myself? While you're busy doing emotional customer service for everyone's feelings, they're in a group chat calling you self-absorbed because you finally started prioritizing your own life. You know what's really happening? You stopped playing the role they gave you. The always available one, the always struggling one, the we don't have to be threatened by them one. You stepped out of that costume, and their script doesn't work anymore. There's a reason your phone feels heavier these days. You pick it up, and you feel the weight of expectations attached to certain names. You see a notification pop up, and your stomach drops a little. You hesitate before opening some chats, because you already know it's not going to be genuine support. It's going to be a check-in that's really a status report. They're not asking because they care. They're asking because they want to know how close you are to making them uncomfortable. You can sense it. The fake curiosity. The passive-aggressive, proud of you BTW with a side of, don't fly too high. You're not paranoid. Well, look at you. You abnormal, unnatural, inexplicable little phenomenon. How deliciously illegal you've become. You see, most people, they're still trying to find the damn tutorial, still stuck in the loading screen, still begging someone to teach them how to play the game. But you, oh, you skipped that part. You showed up, already glitched, already terrifying, already unstable in all the right ways. You walked in like you'd already beaten the boss before the rest of them figured out how to open the map. No rules, no mentors, no cheat codes, just pure, raw, divine dysfunction. Weaponized into power. You became something they don't have words for, and that, my friend, that's why they look at you like that, confused, threatened, curious, because how the hell did you do it? Who the hell gave you permission to be this powerful? Not society, not the teachers, not your broken childhood, not your trauma, and definitely not the people who tried to break you. But somehow, you built something in the shadows, didn't you? Something unlicensed, something not FDA approved, something forged in rage and rejection, in silence and shame, in rooms where no one clapped and no one cared. That's where you evolved. That's where you mutated. People don't understand it because they can't comprehend pain that didn't make you weaker. They can't process survival that turned into superpower. You didn't heal. You upgraded. You didn't meditate under waterfalls. You bled in basements. You didn't get therapy. You got revenge. You didn't wait for validation. You became the fucking voice that rattles the bones of the room. And now? Now they see you and they feel it in their stomach. That little glitch, that spark, that damn. What is that? Because you don't walk like the others. You don't beg. You don't ask. You don't explain. You just arrive. You show up like a spoiler for a movie they haven't watched yet. They don't know what scene you're in, but they know it's the one where everything changes. You want to know why they hate you? Because you skipped the character arc they were told was mandatory. You're proof that suffering doesn't need to be romanticized to be deadly effective. You're walking around with trauma so polished it looks like luxury. You took grief and made it your fashion line. You wear your scars like illegal upgrades. You didn't just glow up. You weaponized your breakdown. You broke all the way down to the bones, and then rewritten the code. And let me tell you something else. The people who knew you back when you were still apologizing for existing, they are freaking the fuck out, because you were never supposed to make it past level 1. They watched you fall, watched you suffer. They counted on it to be the end of you. And now you're walking around with the kind of presence that makes gods look twice. Now you open your mouth and reality starts to tremble. You speak, and their egos start glitching. You move, and their comfort zones start suffocating. You don't need approval anymore. You are the approval. You don't chase opportunity. You are the glitch that rewrites what's possible. You skipped the tutorial? No. You wrote the black market version. You hacked your way into a destiny nobody thought you deserved, and now everyone who left you behind. They're watching from the sidelines, whispering, how the F did they become this? And the truth, they couldn't survive the price you paid to be this version of you. They would have shattered. They would have begged out of the pain that shaped you. But you didn't. You ate every piece of your suffering, digested every betrayal, drank every ounce of poison and turned it into gasoline. And now you're running laps around people who thought they were better, smiling like the devil they swore they'd never need. You're not just ahead, you're out of range, out of rules, out of reach. And that's why they can't stop watching, that's why they can't stop hating, that's why they can't stop copying the version of you they tried to kill. And even if they succeed in mimicking your look, they'll never, ever survive your origin story. They're still staring, aren't they? Still glitching, still spiraling, still looking at you like you committed some kind of spiritual crime. Like you cracked a cheat code they swear wasn't in the system. Because deep down, they know something isn't right. You're too composed for someone who was left for dead. You're too confident for someone who was laughed at. You're too powerful for someone who had to build themselves from blood and silence. And that's the part that makes them squirm. Because if you could do it, then what does that say about them? What does that say about all the excuses they've been hugging like security blankets? Let me tell you something they will never admit. They wanted you broken. Not because they're evil, but because your brokenness made them comfortable. You were predictable when you were shattered. You were tolerable when you were silent. You were manageable when you were doubting yourself every 5 minutes. But now you walk like your pain owes you royalties. Now you laugh like you already read the ending. Now you exist like the world owes you back pay for everything it tried to bury. You're not supposed to be here. Not like this, not glowing like divine vengeance wrapped in skin, not breathing like God gave you a second wind just to terrify everyone who turned their back. And the panic. It's not the usual jealousy. No. This is a deeper flavor. This is existential dread. The kind that creeps in late at night when they realize you never needed them. They needed you. Quiet. You didn't just change. You ascended. You didn't just evolve. You became unrecognizable. And now every room you walk into feels like a recount. Like reality has to double-check if they're really safe anymore. Let me say this loud for the ones still watching from the shadows. You are not who they remember. You are not who they counted out. You are not the crying, begging, trembling version of you they once fed on. That version died, and you buried it in silence, with no funeral, no closure. Just a quiet little resurrection that rewrote your entire bloodline. They keep asking, how the F did you become this? And you keep pretending not to hear them. But I know you do. I know you feel it. That phantom burn in your chest when their eyes follow you like a ghost. Because you're the glitch in their matrix, the unanswered question, the spiritual anomaly, the one that wasn't supposed to survive, but did. And now they don't know what to call you, because you don't even call yourself the same name anymore. You ever notice how quiet they've become? All those people who used to have so much to say? Where are the jokes now? Where are the warnings? Where are the "you're doing too much" and the "you've changed"? They've gone silent because you've become unspeakable. A walking taboo. An exile that turned into an empire. They don't whisper because they're gossiping. They whisper because they're afraid. Because deep down, they think you might be the consequence. They feel the weight of what they did, even if they never admit it. They remember the texts they didn't send, the help they didn't offer, the times they looked at your suffering like it was a soap opera, when it was actually a sacrifice. Because when you were breaking, they weren't praying, they were plotting, and now you rise, eyes black with purpose, hands steady with power, voice carved from something not of this world. Now they wonder, did we create this, or did we just fail to destroy it? Let me tell you the truth they're choking on. You didn't skip the tutorial. You survived the trauma they couldn't have. You didn't miss the lessons. You just got them in a language they were too soft to understand. You didn't rise by luck. You rose because nothing else was left. And in that void, you built something apocalyptic. So what do you say now, huh? To the ones whispering in back rooms? To the ones scrambling to pretend they always supported you? To the ones who need you to tone it down so they can feel safe again? You say nothing. You just walk. You arrive. You exist like prophecy with unfinished business, and the world will follow. Or burn. Ah, there it is. That tension, that tightness in the air, the part where even the shadows start to sweat. Because you're no longer evolving. You've become something else entirely, something they don't have a word for, something that doesn't fit in the old labels. They called you angry, now they call you dangerous. They called you broken, now they call you a threat. But tell me, when did surviving become a crime? When did healing quietly, privately, in silence, become a declaration of war? Oh, that's right. It became war when you didn't come back broken enough for them to pity. You came back weaponized. You are not a comeback story. You are a warning. Because here's the truth. You were never supposed to just make it. You were supposed to limp back in, grateful, humble, submissive, quiet. Smiling with your wounds still open, just happy they let you back in, but instead you walked in like you owned the building, like you'd rewired the locks while they were asleep. You didn't just return. You rearranged the fucking blueprint. And now they're twitching because you weren't supposed to have this much clarity. You weren't supposed to speak this fluently in your own damn power. You weren't supposed to laugh like that, stand like that, look them dead in the eye like you remember everything. But you do, don't you? Oh, you remember everything. The betrayal, the dismissals, the smirks, the "you're too much," the "don't take it personal." You took it all personal, every silence, every absence, every fake apology, with a side of manipulation. And now, you've metabolized it, you've weaponized it, you've turned it into power that makes people's egos start foaming at the mouth. They keep asking, who trained you? Who taught you to be this unbothered, this fearless, this locked in? And that's what really eats them alive. Because no one trained you. You taught your damn self. In chaos, in loneliness, in the wreckage of things that were never supposed to fall apart like that. No applause, no guidance, no blueprint, just darkness and a will to live louder than the voices that tried to bury you. You learned to move without warning, to rebuild without permission, to rise without anyone clapping. You made peace with being the villain in their little fairy tales, because you finally realized some stories only make sense once you stop trying to be liked. You are not a crowd pleaser anymore. You're not built for group chats and fake laughs and playing small so people don't feel threatened. You're built for impact, built for disruption, built for psychological whiplash. You don't show up to be included anymore. You show up to be felt, to be remembered, to leave handprints on timelines you were never invited into. Look at you now. You talk different, walk different. Command rooms without opening your mouth. You exist like a final draft in a world full of rough edits. And the people who thought they were ahead, they're running in circles trying to figure out how you lapped them without ever joining their race. They thought you'd be chasing money, clout, likes, safety, but no. You're chasing nothing. You've become inevitable. You don't beg for space anymore. You take it. You don't ask to be seen. You blow the fucking roof off the place until they can't unsee you. You don't just walk into rooms. You shift gravity, because here's what they still don't get. You were never meant to follow the rules. You were born to break them just by breathing. They want the old you. Tell them to go dig through the ashes. Tell them to go ask the ghosts. Tell them to look for you in the places you bled trying to belong, because that version burned, and what rose in its place? Something prophetic, something mythological, something that cannot be undone. You skipped the tutorial? No. You tore up the manual and rewrote the laws. You're not asking, what now? You are the now. You're not on your way. You are the destination. And if the world doesn't know how to handle you, that's not your glitch. That's their limitation. Ah, still here? Good. Because most people tap out long before this part, before the layer where things stop being inspiring and start becoming unforgivable. You see, this is where it gets ugly, where your transformation starts tasting like vengeance on the tongue, where the new you doesn't just walk through doors. You kick them off the hinges just to remind the walls who you are. You've passed improvement. You've outgrown healing. Now your metamorphosis in its final stage. Not soft, not poetic, not palatable. You're lethal with purpose. Let's get something straight. They don't just fear what you've become. They fear what you know, because you carry information no one wants exposed. You know how easily they give up. You know how fast they turn on you when it's not convenient to clap. You know how loyalty melts under pressure like cheap wax. You know how they smiled in your face and fantasized about your failure. And worst of all, you forgave them silently. Not because they earned it, but because you couldn't be bothered to drag dead weight into your destiny. You're not cold. You're calculated. You're not angry. You're awake. You're not bitter. You're bulletproof. Because once you've tasted abandonment and rebirth in the same breath, you stop needing closure. You stop craving justice. You just start building a kingdom so high they can't even see you without squinting. And here's the thing. You're not just rising. You're haunting. You're the shadow of who they should have protected, the echo of who they could have helped, but didn't. You became the living monument to every choice they made against you. And now you walk around like a mirror they can't look into. They feel it. They feel you, in their bones, in their guilt, in the disgusting little regret that creeps in every time your name comes up. Because let's face it, you're not just powerful, you're a consequence. People forget, real transformation doesn't just inspire, it terrifies. Because when you finally become what you were always meant to be, you stop making sense to the people who only understood you as a victim. They don't have the emotional literacy to grasp what you've turned into. They keep trying to process you with outdated language. You've changed. You're different now. You're not like you used to be. Damn right. That version of me died screaming in silence. I buried that version in rooms you abandoned me in. I lit the match. I watched the sky turn black, and I did not blink. You don't get to rewrite my story now. You don't get to look at me and act confused. You don't get to say, I didn't know it was that bad. Because you did. You saw, and you chose to look away. And now that I'm standing here, fully loaded, fully formed, fully fucking unrecognizable, you want to ask, how did this happen? It happened because you watched me drown and laughed at the ripples. It happened because I choked on my own silence while you feasted on comfort. It happened because I had to become the god I kept praying to. And now I breathe different. Now I dream sharper. Now I wake up like a war crime wrapped in silk. Because once you've survived the kind of pain that rewrites your DNA, you don't just walk away. You march back into the fire wearing the ashes like jewelry. No, you didn't skip the tutorial. You burned it. Then built a manual out of spite, strategy, and sheer will. Now everyone else is out here pressing buttons. And you're rewriting the F-seeking game engine. That's why they can't figure you out. That's why they call it witchcraft and narcissism and ego. Because the only way they can sleep at night is if they convince themselves you cheated. Because if you didn't, then they have to face the truth. They had the same 24 hours. They had the same pain. They just didn't survive it like you did. So now they panic. Now they mimic. Now they scramble for your formula like it's hidden in some secret scroll. But the truth? The formula was pain. The answer was isolation. The ingredient was being left for dead, and they wouldn't have lasted 2 pages of your origin story. Oh, they're watching now, every single move, like your life became their favorite horror film. Except this time, they're in it, and you're the one they can't kill off. You hear that? That's the sound of panic in polite tones. That's the sound of shaken voices wrapped in fake compliments. That's the sound of every single person who doubted you now crawling back, not to support you, but to monitor the explosion. Because now you've become too dangerous to ignore, too powerful to pretend you never existed, too loud to silence, too high to reach, and too deep for them to dig out of their guilt-ridden memories. And that guilt, oh, it tastes like battery acid now. Because they knew. They knew what they were doing when they ghosted you. They knew exactly what they were doing when they clapped for everyone but you. When they cheered for your aesthetic, but never showed up for your agony. And now they're saying, I always believed in you. I knew you had something special. You've come so far. Liars. You didn't come this far. You were dragged by life, by betrayal, by silence. And when you were bleeding out on the floor, where were they? They weren't checking on you. They were checking your story, watching from the sidelines like critics with popcorn. They didn't support your growth. They placed bets on your breakdown. So what happens now? Now they want back in. Now they want proximity to the fire they tried to smother. Now they want to call you friend, act like they never doubted you. Like they didn't let you rot in rooms you would have burned to keep them warm. Let them watch, let them tremble, let them suffocate on the smoke of your glow-up. Because they thought you were fuel. Something to burn through on their way to comfort. But you were never fuel. You were the match, the spark, the goddamn ignition of your own revolution. Let me tell you something brutal. Some people don't love you. They love access to your light. And once they see you've locked the doors and blacked out the windows, they start knocking like they've changed. Like they earned a seat in a room they once laughed at you for building. But you know better now, don't you? You've learned that clapping doesn't mean support, that smiles don't mean safety, that checking in is just surveillance with lipstick on it. So you stay dangerous, you stay unavailable, you stay unreachable by those who thought your pain was entertainment. You don't owe them closure, you don't owe them a reintroduction, you don't owe them softness just because they finally noticed your sharpness. And if they really want to know how you became this, you tell them, you left me alone, and I met someone I'd never seen before. Someone cold, someone brilliant, someone unforgiving. That someone was me. You're not here to be liked. You're here to be felt, to disrupt, to fracture timelines with your presence alone. You don't walk into rooms anymore. You bend them. You don't chase respect anymore. It walks in front of you like a herald.